Changing 100.
It is preseason game number 7 for the Edmonton Oilers. They're in the Emerald City as we get you set for the Oilers and Kraken on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first pregame show of the 2024-2025 season right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Gazzola, Hernan Salas. Oh, it feels so good to say that name again. And Matt Cassian with you this season on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows. We're going to be live on location throughout the season, mostly road games. We're working on some other stuff as well. We will let you know where we're going to be. Matty Iwanek building up the page, keeping you up to speed on our away broadcasts. Our next on-location game, actually, I will unveil it October 17th. Hudson's White Avenue. Great to have Hudson's on board yet again. Everett Fitzhugh will be joining us, the play-by-play voice of the Seattle Kraken. He will be stopping by in a couple minutes' time. Of course, you can join the conversation, 780-218-9999. If you're listening in your car or you're on your computer and on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Apple Music, all those live streaming sites, even EdmontonSportsTalk.com. And then, of course, if you're watching on the EST YouTube channel, you know the routine. You nasties, get in the nasty chat. And then you can also hit that thumbs up as we just hit 10.3 thousand subscribers, which is fantastic. Dusty was talking about that earlier, and so too were the rest of the crew. Hernan Salas is back at the EST Global HQ with one Matthew Iwanek. Nanso, I don't know if you've got the buttons figured out. We have like a minute or two before Everett says he's ready to go. I'll just say it right now. So whenever you want to call him, but you're back, baby. Give us a little bit of the feel because, you know, I'm excited. When I found out, I was like, oh my God, Hernan's back.
Yeah, changing 100. Just getting back to my producing ways here with Matthew Iwanek showing me the ways of video now. But yeah, extremely excited. Can't wait to get going for real. These two games we're going to use as kind of prep for us to get back in the groove, Tommy, like we were 3-4 years ago. And it's going to be fun, man. This team's contending. There's a few question marks, not a lot. There's not a lot of youth on this team, which is a good sign. So I can't be more excited. I mean, the way the nasty chat, just watching from afar the last couple, last year when you guys started this was just unreal. It's almost a show on its own, the nasty chat. So in the inbox. So I can't wait to get going here next Wednesday, but I'm going to take this tonight and Friday night as, let's get back into the groove here. So extremely, extremely excited to be back doing Oilers pre and post. I never did pre. I did a lot of the post game show, but I'm looking forward to pregame as well.
The fantastic Connor Halley would handle pregame duties, and we were fortunate enough to have YouTube Trev last year.
Yes.
YouTube Trev sniped by the Nielsen show on the morning show with the boys, and you and I reunited with Matt Cassian, who will be stopping by for Game Changers in about 15 minutes' time. All right, Everett Fitzhugh says he's ready to go. Nanso will be giving him a shout. Let's go into the inbox really quickly, see what's going on. Good to see some familiar faces in there. Big U, Corey B, T. Willison, Emma Terry, Sarah, hello, VR Montenegro, hello, Michael, and then Pat Janex, and then hopefully we get some new comers to our pre and post game show, which comes at you every Oilers game day the rest of the way. The way we wanted to do this was to make sure you could watch the game tonight. You can watch on Oilers Plus, and then if you happen to find a stream somewhere, you can catch the Kraken broadcast as well. So, hit us up, see what's going on in the inbox. This text says, hitting thumbs down for the show being late. AF, JK, TG. Yes, I think we're pretty close to being on time. The Oilers 3-3 this preseason. The Kraken 1-3-1. And we will get the scoop from Everett Fitzhugh on what's been going on with the Oilers Pacific Division rivals. I'll throw out the question of the night to everybody. Chime in, inbox 780-218-9999. And of course, nasty chat. I'll just keep it simple. This has been a very big topic of debate lately, and rightly so. Which defensemen fighting for the 2 spots on the right side have impressed you the most? It's Ty Emberson, Troy Stetcher, Josh Brown, Travis Dermott. You tell me and let me know why. Show your work, as Dusty and Eric like to say. And I want to hear from you. I'll read those out as we progress through the show. Nanso, let me know when Everett is good to go. We're getting that all settled in. And Hernan also learning the new system of producing. It's a little bit different than the 1260 days. So we'll get that all sorted out. I do have some lineups for the Kraken to pass along your way. The Oilers, we can kind of deduce a little bit with the guys we know that won't be playing. But for the Kraken tonight, Matty Beniers between Jared McCann and Jordan Eberle. Chandler Stevenson, great offseason pickup with Jaden Schwartz and Andre Burakovsky. Then you've got Shane Wright centering Eli Tolvanen and Oliver Bjorkstrand. Yanni Gord between Brandon Tanev and Ryan Winterton. On defense, Vince Dunn paired up with Adam Larson, who became a daddy recently. Jamie Alexiak with Brandon Montour, another great pickup from the Cup-winning Florida Panthers. And then Riker Evans will be paired up with Will Borgen. No Ty Cartier for the Kraken tonight. Expect Phil Grubauer between the pipes. He's ready to rock. It is Everett Fitzhugh, radio play-by-play voice of the Seattle Kraken. Everett, I know that here in Edmonton, everyone is tired of the preseason. Seattle 1-3-1 through 5 preseason games. What have been the main storylines everyone is tracking with this club in Seattle?
Hey, Tommy, good talking to you again, man. I think from a Kraken perspective, the goaltending battle, number one, Joey Decord last year had a really good coming out party, if you will. That phenomenal performance at the Winter Classic. He kept the Kraken when Philip Grubauer was injured. He kept the Kraken in the playoff conversation until just after the trade deadline. The Kraken played Winnipeg that night. They beat Winnipeg. They were 5 points out of a playoff spot, and then they fell off from there, but at least they were in the conversation. So now coming into the season, Philip Grubauer hopefully can stay healthy all year long, and you can have that legitimate 1A, 1B tandem that you have been looking for ever since you came into the league. So I think that's number one. Number two, you mentioned Stevenson and Montour. The Kraken needed offense. They went from the 4th best offense 2 years ago to the 4th worst offense in the NHL last season. So finding a way to get more goals, generate more offense, that's going to be two of the biggest storylines to watch, especially early on this season.
Dan Bylsma takes over behind the bench, replacing Dave Haxtell. You know, in your opinion, Everett, what does Bylsma bring to the table that might give the Kraken an edge this season as they look to get back into the playoffs?
I think for Dan Bylsma, he is a coach who wants to bring some levity. He wants to bring some lightness to the locker room. He wants you to have fun coming to the rink every day. And even in camp, you can really start to see that culture shifting a little bit. And that's taking nothing away from the job that Dave Haxtell did, but it's just two completely different styles. You're going to work hard when you come to the rink under Dan Bylsma, but he wants you to have fun doing it. Everything's a competition. You know, guys are doing push-ups at the end of practices. Guys are, first person on the ice and doing a hot lap around and gets, a cookie or something like that. I don't know. But it's little fun stuff like that keep the game, that keep you focused and dialed in. And you can really tell the guys are responding to that, the culture shift, the personality shift behind the bench. And also, too, with him, Jess Campbell, who you bring in, Bob Woods, who you bring in as assistant coaches, those three, along with Dave Lowry, who's been here now for 2 seasons, those coaches have a genuine passion for the coaching aspect of coaching. They love teaching. They want to educate. It doesn't matter if you've been playing 15 years in this league or you've had 15 shifts. They want to find what makes you tick and ultimately make you a better player.
Everett Fitzhugh joining us, play-by-play voice of the Seattle Kraken, Oilers and Kraken tonight as the preseason gets set to wind down. Shane Wright, Everett, has been an interesting story. He was highly sought after when he was a prospect. People had him touted as the number 1 overall pick. It didn't happen. He falls to the Kraken. They let him simmer for a couple of years in Coachella Valley. Had a strong year last year. What kind of player is he developing into? And then what's the expectation of him this season?
Well, I want people to remember he's not even 21 years old yet. So, I mean, put that out there first. But for Shane Wright, everything they sent him down to the American Hockey League last year to work on, he improved and he got passing grades. His play without the puck, his play with the puck, skating, going to the net, getting to a lot of those dirtier areas, and he's become a real full player. He is this skilled, offensively capable player, but he's also not afraid to muck it up in the corners. He's gone to the front of the net, gotten a couple of tips. I was able to go down to Coachella last year for their run in the finals, and Shane Wright was playing almost like a Jaden Schwartz power forward type of role as opposed to that skilled centerman type of role. And, he really, I think, impressed a lot of people. He went down with that big checklist. He was able to check off everything on that list. And in terms of what he needed to work on. And now here in the preseason, you're seeing him do that on a daily basis against NHL competition. He came to rookie camp this year. I don't think he had to come, but he wanted to come to be a leader, to show that, hey, I'm committed to making this team. I want to make this team. I want to be impactful on this team. So Shane Wright has done everything asked of him, and now it's going to be the challenge for him to do that at the NHL level on an 82-game basis.
Everett, I know you need to run to do another hit on the broadcast, but I'm assuming it's get back to the playoffs for this team, right? That's the expectation?
Yeah. No, that absolutely is. And I think last year you missed by 17 points. You end up with over 20 shootout overtime losses. And I think just by having a guy like Dan Bilesma behind the bench and his attitude and the culture shift that we've already seen, I think that gets you 5 wins right there, just having his leadership. Joey DeCord last year had 11 overtime shootout losses. You take away 3 of those in the win column. Last year, the Kraken had a number of games they shouldn't have won. They were on a road trip back in December where they lost in Chicago. They lost in Ottawa, 2 easily winnable games. You win those games, there's 4 more points, you're back in the playoffs. So the Kraken last year, I think, were closer than a lot of people maybe think or are willing to admit, but there were a lot of times, and to be frank, this team snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. And I think this year, going the other direction with it, finding more offense, getting a new coach, a new core system in place here, you're absolutely right. I think playoffs that's the bar. And then in the division, in the conference, where depending on teams' goaltending situations, depending on these early preseason injuries, the Kraken basically could find themselves in a race for one of the top 3 spots in the division, if they're lucky. So a big year for Seattle, but I think the playoffs are definitely what's going to be the bar for this team.
Lots of good players on this roster. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Kraken bring to the table. Everett, we're going to get you back on a couple of times this season, if that's cool with you. Thanks for the time tonight, my friend.
Please do.
We will. We'll hold you to that. There you go. Everett Fitzhugh, play-by-play voice of the Seattle Kraken. Great stuff from him. As always, he's a busy boy. He's got to hop on and do another hit, and we certainly appreciate his time. Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. And then, of course, you can get into the nasty chat. Corey B says, I see an ST. Yes, there is an ST back there just over my shoulder. I spruced up the home studio a little bit, the EST satellite studios. So we'll be here not that often this upcoming season, but when needed, it is always ready and available. Let's go to this one. Tony texting in. I like it. Tony says, Tom, I personally think the depth chart could and should go Stetcher, Dermott, Brown. The only thing Brown can really do is hit and fight. The Oilers need someone who can play defense and move the puck. Brown can't do that. Yeah, Tony, I know we were talking about it a bit today on the Oil stream, myself and Dusty, and then Reed, even on the Reed Wilkins show with Jay Milne. To put it respectfully, it hasn't been an outstanding camp from Brown. I don't think the expectation from the outside has been super high for Josh Brown. And Reed, I think, summed it up eloquently. He said, his performance so far, I know we're winding it down here in the preseason, but he called it inadequate at best, or underwhelming at best. That's the proper word that Reed used. Underwhelming at best. And I think that was quite fitting. So we'll see. Brown expected to play with Kulak again tonight, and maybe he ups his game a little bit. And I do think that it is important for Brown and Dermott, who's expected to be in the lineup tonight, to both have strong showings. Emerson, we fully expect to play on Friday against Vancouver as the preseason closes that night. Expect him to play with Darnell Nurse, who we are anticipating plays in this one. So, yeah, it's been interesting. I mean, to me, Dermott's been the go-to, or the best of the options that have been rolled out so far in training camp and the preseason on that right side, vying for that, second and third pairing right side positions. We'll see where this goes. But the fact Dermott's playing tonight, I think, is important and is telling of what they think of his performance so far. And then Josh Brown getting in there. He's been paired up with Kulak essentially most of training camp and the preseason. I think he needs to have a good game as well, as the Oilers contemplate signing Travis Dermott and elevating him from the PTO. Keep those texts coming in. 780-218-9999. Question of the night one more time. I'll throw it out there. It is, which defenseman fighting for the two spots on the right side have impressed you the most? Emerson, Stetcher, Brown, or Dermott? So fire those our way. We've got Matt Cassian, who will be joining us in a couple of minutes. Nanso, are you holding up okay over there? Did you want to chime in on this, or are you trying to get Cass set up? I think he's trying to get Cass set up. But if you want to hop on at any point. I know he's going to be a little bit busy figuring it out. Let's go to Dawson Nielsen. Says, Tommy, two-way deal or one-way deal for Dermott. What do you think comes down the pipeline? I don't know. Dawson Nielsen, I think it comes down to how he performs tonight. There's Hernan. What say you, Hernan?
Repeat the question for me. Sorry, I was talking with Maddie.
Well, question of the night was just, I'll throw it out there again. Which defenseman fighting for the two spots on the right side have impressed you the most? You know the names. Yeah,
it's not I wouldn't say impress is the correct word. I think the guys that are kind of falling into those spots, Emerson, I don't want to say by default, because I think he's been okay. I think he's been good.
Yeah.
I don't think he stood out more than any of the other guys. And then for me, it's between Dermott and Stetcher. I was a big Ben Gleason guy. I thought he's playing well, but he's a left shot. He got sent down yesterday. He wasn't going to be on this team. But Josh Brown is behind those three for me. But for me, it's interesting because they keep playing him with Kulak. Yeah. And I said this yesterday. GMs and scouts don't like to look stupid. They gave Josh Brown a 3-year deal. He's going to play to start the season. I can't imagine that guy being the seventh defenseman come next Wednesday. So for me, Josh Brown will play. I think Emerson will play. I think Dermott will get signed, and Dermott and Stetcher eventually will draw in once Josh Brown is 5-6 games in, maybe. And I'm intrigued to see him tonight. These last 2 games, I think he is going to play. And he's going to play against more NHL-ready lineups, and we'll see how he fares. But I love it because right now, I don't think of the 4 guys, I think you can rank them, sure, but no one's really grabbed the spot, Tom. That's my opinion. And
That's a good point.
We had Struddy on today, too, and he said, some of these guys have been good, but nothing better than good. Like, no one's been great. And I know Ty Emberson, he's almost that default. Like, he came over in the CC trade. The analytics community loves this player. Tommy, if I'm being honest, I haven't watched Ty Emberson play until he came to the Oilers, so I don't want to sit here and say he's ready, he's going to be that guy. But right now, the whole thing was to improve the right side. You got rid of Vinny Desharnais, you got rid of Cody Ceci. I don't think it's better. And that's the whole, for me, that was the whole key of this season, off season, was improve on CC and Desharnais if that's what you wanted to do, and they haven't.
No, they have not. It's gotten worse.
Okay, I'm going to work on Cass here for you, Tommy. So I'll be
okay.
Yeah,
that's fine. Yeah, good point. Well said, Nanso. And as you get Cass ready to go for game changers, we do have lines for you for the Oil tonight. It is going to be a pretty veteran-laden team, and this looks a lot like what will probably open up the season next Wednesday. Obviously, we've got a couple of position battles happening on the fourth line, and then on the right side, kinda, I guess, on the blue line. So for the Oil tonight, McDavid between Nugent-Hopkins and Hyman, Draisaitl centering Jeff Skinner and Victor Arvidsson, the newcomers, Adam Henrique between Matthias Janmark and Connor Brown, Noah Philp having himself a very strong training camp and preseason. We'll get another look beside Derek Ryan on the right side, and then on the left side, Drake Gazzola, who is also having a good camp, outplaying James Hamblin, who was up with the big club for 30-plus games last year. Gazzola, although he returned to the Oilers organization last year, did not play in the regular season. He has been pretty good, so he's earned himself another look tonight with Philp and Ryan. On defense for the Oilers, Ekholm with Bouchard, Darnell Nurse making his preseason debut, paired up with Travis Dermott, and then like Nanso was talking about, Brett Kulak with Josh Brown. And we're going to highlight Dermott and Josh Brown tonight. Also want to see where Darnell Nurse is at, as he gets a pretty loaded Seattle Kraken lineup. In goal for the Oilers tonight will be Olivier Rodrigue, who has played 122 minutes in the preseason through 3 appearances, a 1-1 record, 442 goals against average, 833 save percentage. At the other end of the rink, we will see Philip Grubauer. As you heard Everett Fitzhugh talking about the goaltending battle between Grubauer and Joey Decord. Decord had a nice run with the Kraken mid-season last year. Grubauer, the 32-year-old, 0-2 this preseason, 549 GAA, 836 save percentage in 2 appearances. Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-99. Matty Cassian looks like he's standing by, ready to go. Hello, Cass. Give me a thumbs up, big boy. Yeah, he's good to go. Yes, he returns. Matt Cassian. He is back, baby. Cass, how was your summer?
It was good. Busy, lots going on. Kids are busy. Anyone that has kids knows that they get into a lot, and lots of family stuff and lots of other stuff and just more stuff, Tom. So it was a busy summer, but happy hockey's back here. We're back. You're back. I know you're wearing your nice little short shorts there that we can't see, but we know you got them on. And we're feeling good, Tommy. We are feeling pretty good.
Pretty good. All right. It is the first preseason show of the year, and a lot of familiar segments, including game changers, making their return here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Cass, we're going to jump right into it. Let's go into number 1 for tonight, and you're going with the anatomy of a preseason.
Yeah, well, the preseason, you kind of start with not a complete body for the Edmonton Oilers. And you have lots of young guys in, you have draft picks in, players aren't going to be on your team in, you're giving different players looks. You have the Mike Hoffmans and the PTOs in the lineup. But finally, Tom, we have now hit the point in the preseason, which is why we're doing this, where it gets a little bit more real. Both lineups between the Edmonton Oilers and the Seattle Kraken dressing a much more NHL ready lineup, dressing what is a fairly similar to what they're going to be starting the season with. They want to give everyone or a few guys rather that last opportunity to try to make the team. But for everybody else, you want to continue to get them just more comfortable. You want to continue to get them more familiar. You want to get them feeling good, feeling some rhythm, feeling like, they're ready to go. And, talked about it a lot in different times and different shows on the station, but we want to see the Skinner playing with Arvidsson and with Draisaitl and see the continuation of that group continuing to grow, who has had little moments where they've been really good and had moments where they're kind of just meh.
Yeah.
To be expected. It's preseason, but a pretty big opportunity for those guys to be going up against an NHL ready lineup in the Seattle Kraken. You're not just playing against a bunch of fill-ins that are getting sent down or going back to junior. Again, like these are two NHL teams. We're going to see an NHL game, and even being that it's closer to the end of the regular season or preseason, I would anticipate that the intensity is going to start to notch up a little bit. Guys know this is one of their last opportunities to be ready. So Tommy, you start preseason, you're not quite in ship shape, but at this point, you're about to hit the ground running here. So Tommy, we should at least hopefully see a much better, more engaged Edmonton team. And if I'm looking up and down that forward group on what I hope to see, particularly that second line, I want to see some jam from them.
Cass, Connor McDavid is playing tonight. So too is Leon Draisaitl. Like you said, it's going to be a veteran-laden team because we're down to the nitty-gritty of camp. McDavid's already played 3 preseason games. He's going to play tonight. I'm fully anticipating he plays again on Friday. 5 preseason games. Are you a little bit surprised if he does indeed play on Friday after tonight's game?
Well, if he plays in 5, it's because he wants to.
Yeah.
It's not because there's anyone on the team. Jackson's not, and Knobloch's not sitting there being like, hey, Connor, you need to play. You need to play. You need to get in. No, if he's playing, it's because he wants to play, and he feels it's going to help him. He wants to find that groove and hit the ground running from a season standpoint. So, he is going to know his body better than we do. He's going to know how he's feeling, if there's any bumps or bruises. So am I a little surprised? I would have probably pegged him at 4 games, Tom, heading into it. I would have been like, probably play half of them. For a guy like McDavid, maybe 3 if he really wants, or if there's injuries he's recovering from. So 5 is maybe a little bit more than we anticipated. But again, Tom, it's because Connor McDavid wants to play 5. They're not forcing him here.
No, that's a very, very good point. And I knew you'd be able to describe that eloquently as well. All right, that was number 1, the anatomy of a preseason cast. Number 2 on Game Changers tonight, depth in parentheses, Noah Philp and Drake Caggiula.
Yeah, well, this is really, Tommy, about as I freeze up here. Hopefully, you can still hear me. There we go. Still hear me. Good, we're back. But about Noah Flip. Oof. No, it's how we know it's preseason. We're just ironing out the kinks.
Hey, it's our first one too.
Noah Philp and Drake Caggiula. And actually, Noah is buddies with my, now I guess it's her husband now, my cousin. So I actually had a chance to meet him and chat with him at a wedding this summer. My cousin was getting married to one of his good buddies that played hockey together with him. That's actually over in Europe now. A guy by the name of Clayton Kurchenko. So I had a really good conversation with him. Just a really, really good kid. And it's not like he's a baby, but still feels like a kid. So I'm going to call him a kid. But he's had such a great camp, as a lot of people have talked about, maybe not the guy that we would look at to say, hey, here's someone that potentially could find their way into that 13th forward spot, or into playing into a position where he could be in and out of the lineup a little bit, or just really just be on that opening night roster, even if he's not on the ice. And Drake Caggiula, he's a guy that's been around, veteran guy, played a lot in Bakersfield last year, and has outplayed some guys and earned his stay here. But there still is that little bit of a battle for that last spot in the lineup. And the tricky thing for both these guys is they're playing on a line together. They're kind of, I know it's not totally, but they're kind of going up against each other.
Yes.
Trying to be the guy that gets to stay here for the start of the regular season. Now I lean towards it probably being Noah Philp, a little bit of a younger guy. Brings you a little bit more size. Now Drake Caggiula, more what you're going to get. As far as a player, we've seen him here before in Edmonton. The management has seen him. He's not an unknown. Not that Philp is an unknown, but younger guy. We've seen less of him. But a little bit of an interesting battle here, Tom, to try to find one of the last guys he can fit as the depth position. Now, I do think that Noah Philp makes a little bit more sense, even from a size standpoint. Not that he's an overly aggressive physical guy, but he is a bigger guy, a little bit of a bigger body, gives you maybe a little bit more of an element of physicality than Drake Caggiula can typically give you. So I would give him a little bit of the edge here heading into it. And he probably has turned enough heads that he could be a player that's at risk on the waiver wire if you do try to send him down. But Tom, at the end of it here, there's 2 games left. These 2 guys are 2 of the last ones standing, trying to battle it out. Let's watch these 2 a little bit tonight to see if someone gets a little bit of an edge.
Absolutely. And I think that's going to be a lot of the focus from Oilers fans tonight who do watch this game. Cass, what do you say to the rationale? And this is something we talked about on the Oil Stream, and then Reed and Jay were talking about with Philp and Gazzola. Let Philp go down and play a bunch to get up to speed, quote unquote. And then, Gazzola can be that guy that sits out for periods of time, and you're not worried about him getting stale or anything like that. What would you say to that rationale?
Yeah, I think it's a fair rationale. Then you're taking a little bit of a risk, I think, by doing it. But yeah, I mean, it's not like that'd be horrible. And you're probably right. Drake Gazzola is a guy that if you sit him in the press box for 4 or 5 or 6 games straight, you're not as concerned about him and what he's going to be able to bring. So there is an element of truth to that. I mean, truth isn't the right word, but like reasonableness to that. Like it's a reasonable argument. I still kind of go, okay, who do I want here and here on shorter notice and in and out of the lineup a little bit more? And I know, yeah, you kind of want him playing and you want him to maybe get up to speed and he could go to Bakersfield and play a lot. But I mean, I don't know. I kind of take the view of you want him here practicing with the NHL guys, being comfortable here. And if you get to a point where he hasn't played a whole bunch of games, then yeah, maybe you look at trying to send him down and bringing Gazzola up, letting him play a whole bunch of games and then flipping them again. So there is, like, I understand that argument. At the end of the day, we'll have to see. I still just think it's probably Noah Philp that ends up here at the start of the season between the 2.
He's put together a very strong preseason and training camp. All right, it is Game Changers with our game analyst, Matt Cassian. Great to be back. So good to have Cass back as well. Hernan Salas, making sure everything's running smoothly. His first go at it, producing this show, and the band is back together. It is.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. Hernan, I can't believe I didn't even say that off the hop, but welcome back, buddy. I missed you. Love you. And happy to have you here.
Yeah, it's great, Cass. I love the fire you were bringing last year. You kind of reminded me of Latino Heat there for a bit.
Well, I had, you know what? We didn't have you. I had to bring it, man. And I guess I still can and still will. Just gotta feed off of you a little bit. So
yeah, it's great being back with you boys. Of course, Cass, I know I've told you this a bunch of times. I got to know your dad pretty well with the Elks. An absolute beauty. Always giving me recipes. Sounds like he's a hell of a cook, but it's great to know more than just one Cass, and you guys are the best. Nothing but great things to say about Chappie there.
I appreciate it. Yeah, he's a good man, and I mean I think I don't know how many times I got a lot of pictures of you on my phone, and it's just mostly of like your back and your side from the sidelines where you just like sneak a picture and send it to me. I'm like, yeah, I know that's Hernan. Yeah, I know, like you see him all the time, but yeah, it's
you have a disturbing amount of pictures of me, eh?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got a bunch of Tommy too. Just kind of this side angle. He just kind of sneaks his phone up from the sidelines and snaps some pictures. It's pretty funny.
Hey, Chappie and I like took selfies and sent them to you too. Yeah, I have a couple on my phone as well. But he is a very good man. But we're very, very happy to have Hernan Salas back in the fold. It is Game Changers with Matt Cassian right now. Text us 780-218-9999. And get into the nasty chat. Number 1 was the anatomy of a preseason. Number 2, depth. And we highlighted Noah Philp and Drake Gazzola. And then number 3, Cass, power play potential.
Yep. Gotta crisp that up. Crisp that bad boy up. Speaking of, have you ever tried chili crisp? It's like an Asian condiment. I don't know if you ever tried it.
No.
Apparently the rest of my family's been eating it for like a year, and I just discovered it, and it's not something that's new. But man, it's absolutely delicious. But
sounds good.
It's spicy, it's crispy, it's crunchy. Throw it on some eggs. You could fry your eggs in it. It's absolutely delicious. Just like chili crisp, I kind of want to see the PP start to crisp up here at the start of, or end rather, of the preseason before the start of the regular season. We know it's going to be good. We know it's going to be deadly, but an opportunity here for the Edmonton Oilers to work on that power play a little bit, to just get back into that rhythm. Again, you have all your regulars in the lineup, or most of your regulars in the lineup. Your whole power play number 1 unit is going to be ready to go.
Yep.
on the ice tonight, and you're going to be going up against a Seattle team that on their end wants to iron out the kinks from a penalty kill standpoint. They have most of their regular penalty killers in the lineup. So you're going to be, again, it's an NHL ready game at this point, and a big opportunity for that group just to start to turn on the taps a little bit. We want to see them with crisp puck movement. We want to see good execution, just starting to get again to that level that we want to see them at right when the puck drops on opening night of the regular season. So Tom, an opportunity. They got 2 games to work on that power play here, 2 games to just get it smooth, get it crispy, and get it spicy, just like the chili crisp sauce on eggs. So Tommy, I'm going to be watching that a little bit tonight as well.
I like this chili crisp sauce. It sounds delicious.
Dude, it blew me away because it's got like crispy like fried onions and garlic, and then like soybeans in there with a little bit of fermentation. So it's not it's absolutely deadly. Absolutely like I can't believe I didn't. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I'll send you a picture of it so like it's I just blew me away. And then I sent it to my family and they're like, "Yeah, we've had this like forever. Where have you been?" I'm like, "Oh, apparently under a rock." So.
Yeah, evidently. Well, I didn't know about it until you brought it up, and I'm intrigued by it. Cass, the Oilers power play thus far this preseason, it has clicked on 4 of 22 opportunities, 18.2%, with a revolving door of players on that power play so far. But what do you make of Chris Knobloch saying he wants to really get power play 2 some more time out there?
Yeah, I doubt it happens. I know he's going to say that, and maybe he will, but it's just too good.
I know.
It's just too good. Now, maybe you're thinking if you reduce that group's power play time, that means you have them for a little bit more 5-on-5 time, and you can increase your 5-on-5 offense and be a better 5-on-5 team. Like it's kind of the mindset to it. But Tommy, I just don't see it happening. Like,
yeah.
What you're going to shorten those up maybe 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds, but like legitimately, how often? Like, are you going to be pulling those guys off when they have possession, and they have possession so much? Like, and the power play has been so good. Like, he can say that all he wants, and maybe he believes it. Like, I'm not calling him a liar.
I think he's sincere.
He's definitely sincere in saying that. But I think the reality is it's just still not going to be. You're not going to use your second unit that much. You just are not. You're still going to see a majority of those minutes played by the top unit, and you should, because they are the best in the league.
Yes.
On the power play. Yes. You have some of the best players in the world on your power play. You're in a man advantage situation. You want those guys on the ice. So I just don't see it happening.
Noble, will it happen? I doubt it too. Yep. But I like that he's bringing that up, and he's made a point of emphasize he'd like to get them out there. And power play 2, realistically, Cass, there's some good players that could be on there when they do get out if power play 1 is unsuccessful. All right, Cass, I want to float this to you because it has been something that everybody's been talking about, rightly so. It is the question of the night. 780-218-9999. Text us, please and thank you. Or get into the nasty chat. Hit that thumbs up, too, if you're watching on YouTube. Which defensemen fighting for the 2 spots on the right side of the blue line have impressed you the most? Is it Ty Emberson, Troy Stecher, Josh Brown, or Travis Dermott? Cass, we're going to see Dermott and Brown play. No Stecher, no Emberson tonight. From what you've seen, what do you glean? Oh boy, I'm rhyming now like a young ice cube.
Well, I think it's kind of telling that Dermott is the guy that looks like he's getting first crack at Darnell Nurse tonight, isn't it? I mean, he's had a good camp. I think Emberson's been all right as well. Okay. Stecher, it's kind of been also what I expected, which is probably a 7th defenseman. That's probably where he should be. Like, he's an NHL defenseman, yes, but probably a guy that could or should be in and out of the lineup. Emberson, younger guy, I think he's the other option right now on that right side, but Dermott has outplayed them both, in my opinion, so far. So he's the guy that gets a crack at it. Wouldn't shock me if Emberson, and we see Emberson in the last exhibition game at home to see how he pairs with Darnell Nurse. But I think you're looking at this to say, Dermott has earned a look. He's earned a look here. And, they got to decide, from a contract standpoint, what is it going to look like? But before they do that, here's an opportunity to play him with Darnell Nurse just to see in one night how that pairing looks. How does he read off of them? And, one game, it's not really enough to get a full picture of that, I think, especially for defensemen where they haven't played together before. But yeah, again, in my opinion, Dermott has outplayed Emberson and Stetcher. Is going to get a little bit of a look. We'll probably see Emberson in that last exhibition game, and could all come down to how well each of them plays in each of those individual games to see who actually gets a shot here.
What does Darnell Nurse try to do in this game and then likely Friday night as well?
Just getting your legs under them. I think you try not to make big mistakes. That's what I'm hoping for anyways. Just play a simple game. You've been skating. It's not like he hasn't been skating. He's been skating.
Yep.
But you haven't played in any games yet, any game situations. You only got 2. But don't try to work your way into it. Just play really simple. That's what we want to see from him. Play really simple. Don't try to do too much. Stepping back into it.
First preseason game for Darnell Nurse as well. He had a lingering injury from the postseason. Cass, a couple of texts really quickly here. This one comes in from Hampton. Steve says, Tommy and Cass, I think both Philp and Gazzola will be sent down to start the season with Lavoie as the 13th forward. After 20 games or so, can see Philp and Lavoie switching spots. And Cass, Lavoie is still around. He is a bit nicked up right now, and I would assume that if he was healthy, he'd probably be getting into the lineup tonight or on Friday. Where does he fit into all of this, having what has probably been his strongest camp as an Oiler?
Yeah, well, he's another guy that's right in there in that conversation. I know we talked about the Gazzola battle here, but it is probably a little more likely that it's between Philp and Lavoie. And, as you said, Lavoie's a little bit nicked up. So that buys him a little bit of time, depending on how bad it is, to have a look at it. But yeah, he very well could be the guy too. A little bit more NHL experience than Noah Philp. And, he's going to get a little bit of a look. And, the big thing with Lavoie always is going to be, is he a player that can give you fourth line minutes on a consistent basis? And he's done a decent job of it through preseason so far. Can he continue to do it? We'll have to see, but that's going to be one of the tougher decisions that they have to make in the forward group. Again, I think Gazzola is the easy guy to send down, in my opinion. I know, and we talked about people making an argument that having a veteran guy, it's easy to have him out of the lineup and then back in and then out, where he's going to be able to deal with that. But to me, he's the easy guy to send down. So we'll have to see what happens, but it very well likely could be between Philp and Lavoie.
Joaquin Bartholomew Gage via the nasty chat says, I love Cass with the dirty talk, a quote unquote crispy PP.
Super crispy. Yeah. Crispy PPs all over the place. We like them. We love them. Gotta have them.
That's saucy. I love it. Cass, it's so good to be back. Great stuff as always, my friend. We do it again on Friday. And for the rest of the season, enjoy the game tonight.
Absolutely, buddy. You too.
That is our game analyst, Matt Cassian, with Game Changers. And Game Changers, likely, I think we're confirming locking down things, brought to you by Damon Bunting Remax Elite. This is the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Tom Gazzola, Hernan Salas with you. Text us 780-218-9999 and get into the nasty chat like you tend to do. It's going to be a lot of fun this year. Nanso, how's it going back there? Producing your first show on EST. I mean, you did it. You were a total pros pro for so many years at 1260, but this is a little bit different. We've changed it up a bit. It's a new location, different board, more screen. There's like 14 screens where you are right now.
I'm truly producing the show now, because back when it was just traditional radio, I just turned your mic on and we were good and play a few buttons, and there wasn't much producing going on. But no, it's great. It's been fun learning on the fly here. I got the best teacher in the house, and Matty Wanik sitting with me here. So yeah, excited, man. I love the production side of things. So this for me is pretty cool. Like, I love learning all this stuff, and then getting to talk Oilers with you and Cass, and I know we're gonna have a bunch of awesome guests throughout the season. It's gonna be great, and I'm pumped for the game tonight. I know it's preseason, but I'm intrigued to see a few players. What did Cass call Noah Philp again? Flip. That was pretty good. I played the Changing 100 clip, so we're all in preseason mode. But Noah Phillip is an interesting cat. Just his story for walking away from the game, saying something that was something he needed. I'm intrigued to see Dermott with Darnell Nurse, which intrigues me, Tom. It does, because it shows you what the coaching staff's thinking about him. I'm intrigued to watch Josh Brown again, and I don't mean me and Gager were talking about that new look second line for the Oilers, and I'll say this: I like what I'm seeing from Draisaitl and Arvidsson early on. Like in the last game, Arvidsson found some spots there in the slot, and Draisaitl found them. Looks like they're clicking a lot faster. I think Skinner's going to have to get up to speed because, listen, playing with Draisaitl is probably not easy because he makes passes that not a lot of guys can make in this league. But it seems the chemistry between Arvidsson and Draisaitl is going to be something to watch and something exciting and something that they can produce as well.
Let's see how that unfolds. See if the chemistry starts to butt a little bit tonight. Arvidsson and Jeff Skinner with Leon Draisaitl as they take on the Seattle Kraken. Hernan is back with us, of course, on ESD Afternoons with Joaquin Gage from 1 to 3, Monday through Friday, and Nanso back on the pre- and post-game show. He was on the post-game show at 1260, but we'll be doing pre- and post co-hosting and producing, and super pumped for that. I think it was someone in the Nasty chat was asking how you can watch the game tonight. You can watch it on Oilers Plus.
Yeah.
And they do have a promo that is still running. I know Joaquin tried it, but he had a bit of an issue with it.
I did too.
You did too. Okay. Apparently, if you punch in promo code preseason 24 ! All caps, it should get you 2 free months of Oilers Plus. Now, I am not saying to do this, but it does work. There are pirate streams out there where you can catch the broadcast from the Seattle Kraken. I'm not going to direct you where to go, but Google can be your friend in this scenario. And it generally comes out HD. You can watch it on your 65-inch television from the comfort of your living room.
Tommy,
I've heard. Because
it was listed on Sportsnet, I think, weeks ago. And they got pulled. Obviously, because there's MLB playoffs and all that.
Yeah.
So,
and that's how we were determining, like, which games do we do pre and post for in the preseason. And that was kind of one that you, me, and Maddie circled on the calendar. And so we're doing the pre-game show tonight. No post-game show, but on Friday, it is full pull pre and post-game as we get our final tune-up of the preseason, just like the Oilers. All right, we do have a little bit of audio and video to get to. I kind of want Hernan's opinion on this. I want to run Calvin Pickard because he's been banged up. He did skate today before the team flew to Seattle. The other option is Ty Emberson, but Ty Emberson is not playing tonight. So I don't know, Nan. So what do you think? Should we run Pickard or should we run Emberson? Like that's our two choices for tonight. No, he's producing. Well, I'll leave it up to Hernan. Hernan, you pick which one you want to run, and then we can do that whenever you see fit. Hop in at any point. All right. Let's see what we got via the Nasty chat. Everybody's going back and forth at one another. Some Leafs fans in there. Okay, that's good. Looks like everything's back to normal in the Nasty chat. Hampton Steve reiterating that the promo code is preseason 24, but you have to enter it into the monthly subscription option. Thank you, Hampton Steve. Scalding Gord says, I have recovered from my tearing up hearing Hernan back on an Oilers pre/post game show. It took almost 50 minutes. Scalding Gord, thank you. Good to hear from you. Nate the Builder said, it's amazing what Noah Phillip has done this fall. Love it. And Nanso says, we have Ty Emberson ready to go. So Hernan, when you want, fire away, my friend.
On the ice?
Yeah, there's a little bit less time for rest. Obviously a good skate this morning, get some pucks on picks, but yeah, with less guys it's always a little bit harder.
How was the training camp for you so far? Like, what did you like about the way you played?
I think it's been good. I think I showcased myself well of just being a simple defenseman, making a good first pass, having good gaps, and just contributing on the PK and in the smaller areas.
You got to have a regular partner, at least going into the season, so you know who you're playing with?
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to be... Yeah, as a defenseman, it's always nice to be able to get some chemistry with whoever you're playing. But obviously, training camp there's a lot of moving pieces. So right now, just focus on myself and get ready for the games.
When you think about where you are and where you want to be, maybe mid-season or at the end of the season, what's the kind of the gap there that you want to fill in?
I don't know if I want to look as far as the mid-season, end of the season. I think I just want to focus on night one, being able to be in the lineup and contribute in the ways that I know I can. So I think I try to take it in smaller increments than half the season, end of the season. But I think the last game was good for me of just getting my feet under me and just understanding what the coaches need from me.
Did you feel like you had a place to lose or a place to win when you show up at the training camp here?
I think there's always a place to lose. Like, obviously, there's some veterans on this team, but I think Knobber's been good about making training camp that if you play well and prove that you've earned a spot, then it's your spot. So I came in with honestly the place to win. If I just want to earn my spot here.
How's the relation with Chris? Is it the same that you had previously?
Yeah, it's been good. Knobber's always been really good. That was the first thing that I noticed in Hartford was he's very personable, very good with the communication skills and that side of the game of kind of the newer game of hockey. So I think it was good to come in and have a familiar face that I knew.
A lot of talk that you might get a shot playing with Nurse, but you haven't played with Nurse. So, okay, the season's coming up pretty quick. Are you looking to at least play one game with him and see how it's going to look? Yeah,
hopefully. I mean, we've gotten some good practices in together, so obviously the practices have been good, up-tempo, more game-like. So we've gotten a couple reps together. So I think if that's the case, then I think we'll be ready to go.
How do you complete him? How do you play together?
I think just both knowing what we can do. If we're both strong players defensively, and I think if we talk together, we'll have good breakouts and just be able to shut down the other team and contribute in the defensive ways.
Did you play with Ferraro weight to start the season last year?
I played with Mar probably starting like the third-ish game. I think the first or second game I played with someone else, and then I hopped in with Mar.
Somebody got hurt, or they just made the change?
I think we just made the change.
Okay, there's Ty Emberson, not playing tonight in Seattle. Will likely draw in Friday night in Vancouver, but get to hear a little bit from him as he gets set to make his Oilers debut next week, probably alongside Darnell Nurse. We'll see what happens tonight. Travis Dermott sliding in there, but beside Nurse, who is playing his first preseason game, and then Josh Brown will be paired up with Brett Kulak yet again. Olivier Rodrigue starts in goal for the Oilers. You're going to see Noah Philp with Derek Ryan and Drake Caggiula on the fourth line. Top three lines, really no surprise. It's going to be McDavid with Nugent Hopkins and Hyman. Second line, we'll see Draisaitl between Jeff Skinner and Victor Arvidsson. And then the third line is that line of Adam Henrique, Matthias Janmark, and Connor Brown. We saw them in the playoffs last year play very effectively, and Chris Knobloch says he anticipates that they will start the year together. All right, if you want to watch the game tonight on Oilers Plus, Hampton Steve reminding everyone that the promo code is preseason 24. There was someone out there that said that it has an exclamation point on it at the end of it, but you have to put the promo code into the monthly subscription option. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So promo code preseason 24, maybe an exclamation point at the end of it. So keep that in mind if it doesn't work the first time. But you have to put it into the monthly subscription option. Thank you again, Hampton Steve, for that reminder. And then Whistle Dog says, have a great season of pre and post. Hope the local club gives you guys more good than bad. Also, great to hear Nanso on the airwaves again. The new show with Gage is great as well. That's from the Whistle Dog. There you go. And Hernan, very nice. Good to have you back. Look,
yeah,
people remember.
It's been crazy. Absolutely love it, though. This is great. Yeah. It was weird driving in again in the evenings. And, it's I'm looking forward to it, man. I can't wait till the Oilers get going. We can start talking about real games because these preseason games, we're down to 2-3 spots, if that. It's great, though. The Edmonton Oilers are a team that's contending for the Stanley Cup. That ride last year, me just as a fan and an observer, far away from anything media related, it was great. And I'd always tune into your post-game shows. And like I was telling you in the playoffs, the Nasty Chat, I couldn't even keep up
I know.
with it. And you're busy and Trev's busy and all that. And shout out to Trevor, who did a wonderful job last year. He shoots from the heart. He's a fan. I love it. He's similar to me, and I thought he did a great job on the pre and post game shows all year, and he's not going to be a stranger to the show either. He'll be around, and he will get his takes and all that as well. I know we're doing a couple shows together because you'll be doing some sideline work, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic. Also, shout out to Dusty Nielsen, who worked with the graphics that Trevor created as we launched year number 2 of EST and gave us a nice slick look on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pre and post game show. I like it. This is the debut of it, so it looks really, really sharp. Well done, boys. Nicely done, Dusty Nielsen.
Dusty is a very talented man, and just seeing like the Nasty Chat today, the inbox, seeing the number of people watching, it's great, Tom, and it's preseason, and a lot of people are not going to be able to watch this game, right? So it's just awesome, the support and all that. So, Tom, it's good to be back with Gazzola and Cass and the whole whack of other individuals here at EST.
Oh, yes.
Getting to know Reed, he's been an absolute beauty, and Jay as well. I didn't know them very much through our time and when Jay started here at EST. So it's been great. Happy to be part of the team. But I'm going to put you on a solo screen because I got to get ready to get out of here, and Matt's got to show me some things. So shout out to all the nasties out there. We'll see you Friday for pre and post, and then on Wednesday I'll be ready to go. Tommy will be ready to go, and we're going to have a lot of fun this year. So ciao for now.
I love it. I love it. All right. So one last thing to pass along your way. Here's the lineup for the Oilers tonight. McDavid between Nugent Hopkins and Hyman. Draisaitl with Skinner and Arvidsson. Henrique between Janmark and Brown. Derek Ryan with Drake Caggiula and Noah Philp, who is expected to play down the middle on that line. Ekholm with Bouchard. Nurse making his preseason debut with Dermott. Kulak with Josh Brown. As for Seattle, Matty Beniers between Jared McCann and Jordan Eberle. Chandler Stevenson with Jaden Schwartz and Andre Burakovsky. Shane Wright centering Ili Tolvanen and Oliver Bjorkstrand. Yanni Gord between Brendan Tanev and Ryan Winterton. On defense for Seattle tonight, Vince Dunn with Adam Larson. Jamie Alexiak with Brandon Montour. Riker Evans with Will Borgen. Your goalies, Olivier Rodrigue for the Oilers. Philip Grubauer for the Seattle Kraken. Those are your lineups. And if you're looking to watch the game tonight, you can stream it on Oilers Plus. And the promo code is preseason24, all caps. If it doesn't work, add an exclamation point, and then make sure you put it into the monthly subscription column. That comes in from Hampton's Steve, a friendly reminder there. All right. Whistle Dog. Yeah, there we go. It's preseason 24, all caps. And then if that doesn't work, put the exclamation point in. I saw a thing for it a few weeks ago, but put it into the monthly subscription box, and you get 2 free months of Oilers Plus. That is going to do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show, everybody. So good to be back. No postgame show tonight. Friday, full pull, Oilers and Canucks. We will be on the air with the pregame show, myself, Hernan Salas, and Matt Cassian. And then we will also follow up with our first postgame show as we get set for 2024, 2025. With that being said, for Hernan Salas and Matt Cassian, I'm Tom Gazzola saying thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the Oilers and the Kraken. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Ciao for now.